I often think about what I would say to alien species, or maybe to someone who has no knowledge about psychology, what I would tell him about Homo sapiens, about who we are. So if an alien ever visited me, or if someone asked me about Homo sapiens, then I will tell them what I tell you in this video. All organisms on Earth share a common ancestor, so we are all related. The degree of relation is different from organism to organism. This is our timeline, the Homo sapiens timeline. As you can see, we have a long history and lived in many areas of our world, doing different things. And now our job is to hunt and gather. All organisms have DNA in common, so we all have the same building blocks. We all share genes, and genes are naturally selected for. And that's how we are created. DNA makes up genes, and fit genes are selected for, while unfit genes are just not selected. And if you are an intelligent organism, you have appendages to work with things. This is what the Homo sapiens on Earth also have. We walk upright, because walking on two legs is less energy consuming than walking on all four limbs. But everything in evolution was give and take due to the fact that we don't have unlimited resources. And what we got is back pain. So we have two arms to move around with things and manipulate rocks and sticks. This is what makes it possible for us to manipulate objects and use our clever wits to survive and prosper in our environment and hunt and gather. When we started walking upright, we could start throwing rocks. Now the alpha male has to be careful. Intelligence just became more fit. This selected for bigger brains and bigger intelligence. And this again complicated things, because females that walk upright have a problem giving birth. The bird canal becomes smaller, and now we have to give birth even earlier. So you basically have this small meat clump with a huge potential, but born too early, so it really can't do anything by itself. And it needs both the parents to survive. And this is our family. As you can see, we are very closely related to chimpanzees and bonobos. We actually share 98.5% of our genes with them, and 50% of our genes with a plant called a banana, that all three of us like to eat. Our natural way of life is hunting and gathering. Men used to hunt for big game, while women took the children with them and went out gathering. As a two-legged animal, we could shoot the big game and then walk after it so it got tired from exhaustion, because it has 4 legs, not only 2. Our lean frame also makes us lose heat faster in a hot environment. While we typically gather for the family, we share big game with the whole band. So big game is actually a really important part of a social life. Women good at gathering and men good at hunting are highly sought after partners. But it is really important for the band not to let anyone become too self-centered. Egotism and aggression are negative traits for the group. Children are raised by imitating older kids and adults. This is the old way of life. But 10 to 12,000 years ago, we killed off all big game all over the world. And most human societies had to change to agriculture, which at the very beginning was bad for our health. We started living in tribes, and suddenly the unwritten social norms were not enough to keep the peace and calm in the group. War and competition started to be the norm, and we got more family instead of band-centered. And in a few hundred to a few thousand years, I think we will live a better life on average than we did in the past. But we have a problem with people in poor societies reproducing at a faster rate than people in rich societies. This is because they can't just have 1 or 2 children and then hope that they will survive and prosper. So one of our most important tasks on Earth is to make poor societies rich and make sure that everyone has what he needs. while the environment hopefully will become more sustainable in the near future with better technology. To be able to sustain billions of people and make sure that the environment is sustainable too, we need technologies such as nuclear power and GMO food. And as all other species, we want our genes to survive and reproduce. Children will try to take as many resources from parents as they can, and even fight with their siblings for our resources. But since we share genes, we are more likely to help people with our genes. This is how altruism was created. The goal of any organism is to survive and reproduce its genes. We will help our family because we share their genes, but it is more effective to reproduce ourselves. This is our brain. It's the most complicated brain in the animal kingdom. Our family, the primates, have the same basic brain structures, but we have a bigger forebrain used for social settings and other complex social activities. This is a snake and a flower, and a blank slate brain wouldn't know what to do with them. But we know, because our brain is created to easily learn to be scared of the snake. But it's harder to teach someone to be instinctively scared of the flower. And this is a zebra in a car. While we have a lot of cars everywhere, we're not intuitively created to be scared of the car, even though they can be very dangerous for us and actually kill a lot of people each year. But we are intuitively created to be scared of the lion or hyena and intuitively perceive how an animal moves. And this intuition can actually be used to predict the movement of a car. We have a lot of behavior patterns in common with the many other animal species. One noticeable thing is that women are smaller than men, and this typically means that males compete for females, because females are the gender with the big gametes and males have the small gametes. So males have a lot of sperm and can get many more offspring than a typical female. On an average male and an average female, we get the equal amount of offspring. So many males get a lot of offspring and many males get none offspring, while the typical female will get some offspring. The gender that puts most energy in the offspring will be the primary sexually selecting gender. And this is also typically the gender that will have to stay and nurture the offspring, while the other gender with the smaller gametes can spread its gametes around. So females are actually the gender that typically select the partner. But in Homo sapiens we need both partners to take care of the child. So actually men do a lot of selection too. And this is why females are the good looking gender in Homo sapiens. We can also look at testicle size and then predict what kind of mating pattern this kind of species has. And our testicle size seems to be in the middle of the highly polyandrous species and the highly monogamous species. So we are not 100% monogamous, as we do have some sperm competition. Neither do we always practice polyandry. So it's not always one male and several females like in gorillas. Many societies practice monogamy and many societies practice polyandry. In my society we practice social monogamy. So we live in couples, but there are a lot of affairs. And this is our eyes. These are of course the last thing I will show you, because to understand the single individual you have to understand the group, because the individual is created in the group. And this organ actually tells you a lot about us. You can actually see other people's pupils, so you can actually see where they look. This means that we can communicate where we want to go or what we want to do. And with the big brain you can cheat and not be cheated.